Strong start to the 2002 season, and one of the Minardis is going out. I think that was Mark Webber. They've been at the back of the grid as per normal, the Minardis, so far this weekend. Indeed it is Webber. But interestingly, Mark, Webber hasn't really had the margin over his teammate Alex Young that we've grown accustomed to. It was only 0.3 of a second this morning between him and the Malaysian driver.
You're quite right, James, but I don't know whether that's down to Webber not getting in touch with the circuit here, or whether actually Alex Young has made a big leap forward in closing down the times. But at this point in time, Webber seems to be having a little bit of a problem on the racetrack, slowed down drastically.
He has. You can hear the engine doesn't seem like it's engaged, does it?
He's actually picked gear up again now, so it seems okay. But maybe he's going to roll this lap into the pits again, have it checked over. But again, it's one lap out of his allotted amount.
Well, we've certainly seen it before. Minardi's coming out of the pits and getting no more than 300 yards down the road. In fact, Alex Young's debut last year at Monza, exactly that happened to him. Can you imagine on your debut in Formula One, first run in qualifying, and he got as far as the first chicane, and then it came to a grinding halt.
Well, signs of frustration when that happens as a race car driver, but as a race car driver, one thing that you do like to have, for qualifying especially, is a clear racetrack. And this is certainly a situation what Webber's got here with the Minardi. Whether he makes the use of it or not, we'll have to wait and see.
He's been 5-0 against his teammates so far in qualifying this season. It sounds like he is going for the lap, so Mark, you can talk us round it. As he comes across the start-finish line, a 1 minute 8.3 was the target time set by Michael Schumacher this morning, but the Minardis, their fastest lap was a 1:11.9. What can Mark Webber do as he exits turn one?
Well, he uses a little bit the outside curve in there that we spoke about earlier in the track guide, but maybe not carrying as much speed as he would like, up to about 180, 85 miles an hour, down to first gear, tucks into this right-hander, track control, very evident there as he accelerates away. He's going to carry about another 180 miles an hour down into the next turn.
Yep, coming up over the rise into the left-hander. Mark Webber, so far his first sector time, just over a second slower than the Ferrari pace from this morning. But certainly the fastest he's been yet this weekend. Into the long left-hander. This is turns 5 and 6, Niki Lauda curve and Power Horse curve. And then up to 7, that right flick. You see the car just jiggling about. Very difficult to get the thing stable. Up over the hill he comes. And then these are the two corners that are absolutely critical to being fast around the A1 ring. Turn 8 and turn 9, the Jochenrindt curve and the A1 curve. This is where we've seen cars flying off all weekend. No such problems for Webber, though. He crosses the line, and that's not a particularly impressive start, is it? That's 2 seconds off his own pace. His first sector wasn't too bad, but his middle and final sectors were very slow.
Yeah, very slow lap indeed. I know track temperature has gone up, air temperature's climbing slightly, but he just didn't seem to have a lot of grip and didn't seem to be very committed on that lap either. A little bit short of what we need to see the times coming down.
Well, talking about commitment, I mean, he's the guy who had his rear wing flying off on the main straight in Spain, which we saw just a moment ago in the build-up with this Minardi in Spain 2 weeks ago. Would that reduce your commitment, do you think?
I don't think so. Professional race driver, that situation is something that you've got to put in the back of your mind. You know, your rear wing falls off, okay, it's a risk, but everything's back on board, and he should have confidence in the people around him and confidence in the car.
So as Webber comes around and he's in lap, Ted Kravitz is down in the news. He can tell us, down in the pits, he's got some news on the tyre situation.
Yeah, we were listening to James Robinson, James, about the Bridgestone tyres. I can tell you about the Michelins. They're having a very tricky weekend one way or another. The problem with their tyres is graining. It's a particular problem around the A1 ring here. What it is that the rubber actually drifts from the inside of the tyre to the outside of the tyre. That's what graining is called, and it loses performance. The tyre drops off. Now, it happens more on the soft tyres than on the hard tyres, but the soft tyres are better.